Okay. Hi, Apolo. I'm Valentina from Bolivia, and I want to ask you, why did you decide to get involved with the Special Olympics this year?
Great question. The first reason why I wanted to be involved in the Special Olympics this year was I had the opportunity and I had the time. I wasn't a competing athlete that I could devote and I could travel and I could hopefully inspire and bring awareness to the Special Olympics. I've seen so many athletes with so many inspirational stories and so much effort into every single one of their respective sports, and I've not seen the type of media coverage and the type of awareness that I'd like to see. You know, in the United States, NBC does a marvelous job of displaying the Winter Olympic Games and Summer Olympic Games. We see it, it's, you know, happens once every 4 years for summer and every winter. And the coverage is amazing. You get to know the athletes, you get to know their stories. And I think that's something that the Special Olympics also deserves. And that's what I feel is part of my job, is to help bring more awareness to the Special Olympics so people can see the stories, they can see the struggles, and they can see the passion that we all are competing with all of our gifts here.
All right, hi Apollo, I'm Jordan from Illinois, and so Tim Shriver has been telling us how we should create a dignity revolution and among the young people all across the world in so many ways. So my question is, what can you take from this and how do you implement it in your country?
Well, taking what I've seen here and taking the words of the Shrivers, per se, the dignity revolution, and bringing that back to the United States, educating those who maybe have not used the right terminology, who have not used the right type of language in relationship to the Special Olympics. And just, I think it's just all about education, educating the young people of the United States, educating those who are the up-and-coming generation who are going to help run our country in the future, and laying down the foundation of the knowledge and the base that we've built here at these games. I think it's up to all of us to continuously be on that path and always pushing and pushing and pushing to continuously educate others. And it's always going to be a struggle, but that's what it's about. And we're always going to be carrying the struggle forward no matter what it takes.
My name is Aman. I'm from Kyrgyzstan. As I know, you are really good in speed skating. So I just want to ask you, how do you think how we can make available this kind of sport for Special Olympic athletes? How we can make available?
That's a great question, Aman. Well, I think we're already a little bit ahead of the game. You know, earlier this year, I traveled to Singapore, and specifically to help start and develop Special Olympics programs for short track speed skating in those developing countries. Want to go to China, want to go to Japan, and we want to travel around the world to basically bring the sport that I grew up and I loved to the world, and allow all athletes to compete in it and the opportunity to compete in it. I'm a little bit biased. I love short track speed skating. I think it's one of the greatest sports in the world, and I've had so much fun in training and in competing that I want to share that opportunity with many other athletes. And with the right type of help and the right type of focus and effort, I think we can make that a reality.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Apolo, I have one more question.
Sure.
How are you going to be more inclusive of people with intellectual disabilities when you return home?
Well, I think, again, hopefully I'm a little bit ahead of the game. You know, even before I've decided to come and officially take part in this year's, you know, World Summer Games here in Athens, I've always been involved with many different athletes from Paralympic to Special Olympic, all across the United States. And I do a lot of work with the Children's Hospital in the Seattle area and around the nation. And a lot of times, some of the events that we have in Seattle will include many Special Olympics athletes. And specifically one of them, just recently when I was back home in Seattle, we had a very interesting and very fun guy named Ike to come. He's a football player. And the very interesting story was that Ike actually scored a touchdown in their varsity game. And they filmed it, and it was amazing. And you know, I was able to see that, and I was able to meet Ike and interact with Ike and shake his hand and share stories. And it's incredible, it really is. And for me to continuously always involve myself in opportunities like that and situations where I can implement the Special Olympics movement, that's where the real, I think, the value is.
I know you're a really successful guy, so yeah, and I just ask you, can you give some advice for us? Like, you are really success, and can you give some advice for our youth leaders, how we can be like you, how we can achieve, yeah.
Well, I don't know how to be like me, but any advice that I would give, I think really goes along the same lines of exactly what Tim Shriver says. Earlier this year I wrote a book, and the name of my book, the title, was called Zero Regrets. And the subtitle was Be Greater Than Yesterday. And those two things and those two statements to me mean that every single thing that we do in our lives, in sport, in everyday life, in business, whatever we're doing, we want to strive to have zero regrets. We want to strive to be greater than we were yesterday, to be better than we were yesterday. And that to me is what life is all about, is helping others, being with family and friends, and being better than we were yesterday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Maybe last question? Sure. Maybe. Yeah. What's your future plan in Special Olympic? Yeah.
Well, hopefully I will continuously be involved globally, on a global scale, not only domestically but around the world, to help spread awareness, to help gain more media exposure, and to get more athletes competing, both men and women, in many different sports, and get people all around the world to understand the opportunities that Special Olympics can bring, both emotionally for the athlete, mentally, and physically, the health benefits as well.
Can you show some dancing for us?
Some dancing. I think we just ran out of tape.